Okay, so we just had a pretty severe microphone fuck up. We got a good little way into an episode.
Yeah, I think we're like 15, 20 minutes down.
And we're going to be redoing it, I guess.
We're amateurs.
We're amateurs. So, Macy, how was your week?
That's good.
My topic today is also, it wasn't actually a request so much as it was just a DM that we got on Instagram at wbahpodcast, if you're wondering. And it just inspired me. So it's inspired by Why Klept Burn. I'm absolutely ruining that. She says, I'm loving this podcast. I'm a teenage witch who just began early this year. This podcast is the perfect outlet for me because of the share of struggles, because magic is a never-ending struggle, and reiterating the philosophy of never stopping learning. We're all amateurs, to be fucking honest. Anyway, really entertaining and helpful show so far. So, the way that this inspired my topic of familial support or kind of coming out of the broom closet, all of these things kind of tie into one. And it is a little bit of a heady topic, I feel like, today. It just got me thinking about how she said she was a teenager. First of all, she was incredibly well-spoken.
Very.
And it seems like she had a really good head on her shoulders. So, like, if you're listening out there, you're doing really well.
Oh, I'm starting early.
And and absolutely starting early.
That's pretty cool. I wish I would have kind of started that early.
Oh, shit, yeah. When people say, like, you don't become a witch, you just remember you are one.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like for me, because those are the years that I was trying to suppress.
Yeah.
Ignore or whatever. And I really wish I hadn't. But those times can also be really hard to be that age.
Yeah.
And to still be living at home, or to have a big group of friends who don't really understand. Mm-hmm. We can be faced with a lot of just that nervousness that comes with being open and loud and proud. Mm-hmm. And Macy and I are super lucky that we do have a incredibly open and receptive family.
We kind of come from pagans. So
yeah. I feel like there's a long line, whether or not they chose that word for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of people don't. And even to some extent, like, even though we're telling our family, like, hey, listen to our podcast, and they do, and fantastic, there are still people in our lives that it's not a fear. Yeah. You know, it's not a fear.
It's an uncomfortability to say in front of people.
Yeah. And you know, while we may be out and loud and proud around some people more than others, there's still that group of people we're not kicking the door in.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, walking in, burning sage, and fire gazing, and, you know. And I guess it does come from a place of fear.
It's fear. It's more just a knowing that it's going to be misunderstood.
Yeah, that it's going to be met with some level of combativeness is a big driver for me, especially around those who are a little more traditionalist, I guess you could say. Since we began this podcast, I've had a couple of people reach out to me and be like, hey, I didn't know you had a podcast, and I don't know how they're finding out. Yeah. I wasn't the one that sent it to them. Yeah. Because I wasn't ready for that. Yeah. And I guess what my basic point is no matter how far along you are in your road, there's still going to be times where you come up against stuff like this. Yeah. And again, we do live in Texas, so we've got...
to be completely blunt, it's viewed as evil here.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of places.
Yeah, still. I mean, that's still a common thought all over the place.
Yeah, so it is something that's viewed, and it's viewed evil because of that misunderstanding.
Yeah, absolutely.
And something I find that's so hilarious to me in, like, a cosmic way is that when you really get to looking into a lot of other religions, even if it's just like superstitions, a lot of that actually stems from paganism and everything else.
So much stuff stems from paganism.
And stuff you'll do around the house, like household decorations. I went to somebody's house recently and they had a broom as a decoration, like one of those straw kind of almost like cinnamon brooms. They had that, like, hanging by their door, and then a little bit further into their house, they had, like, some, I forget what it was. It was something else very pagan. I forget what it was, but I remember kind of being like, is this person, can I talk to them, you know?
Do they know?
Do they know what they're doing? And it's just... it can be a little bit of a blurry line.
Yeah, it can. Yeah.
And as much as I want to say, fuck it, be yourself, that's not always quite the option.
No, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting topic.
Yeah. And it is, like I said, it's probably not as informational in the witchy sense of the term, but it is something that I feel like needs to be talked about. You might be able to hear it in my voice. It's a topic that I'm a little apprehensive about because I know that there's a specific reason. Not only the very sweet comment we got was like an inspiration behind it, but the reason I decided to talk about it today, and this is a rarity for me. I don't have notes. I don't have talking points.
Yeah, I know. We've switched roles.
We've swapped. This is just coming straight off the top, and I felt like it would be better if it was a little bit raw, and just a little more heartfelt because recently I was contacted by a very close family member of mine who I hadn't said anything to about. And again, it wasn't from a place of feeling like I'm not open with this person. In fact, this is a person in my life I share so many similarities with. There's so many sides to this coin. On one hand, I felt really shitty that like I had hidden or something. And the reason I felt shitty was because I don't want to hide things from this person.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I felt shitty in myself. Like I felt like, why am I not open? Why can't I just, say this is what it is and, sorry. And I think in a perfect world, we would all do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this person texted me and she was like, oh, hey, why didn't, you I heard you got a podcast, and we had an extremely short conversation about it where I feel like I was almost even like apologetic about it. Because I understand the way things go. Like I understand that I don't think that this is a person who would ever do this kind of thing, but there are people out there who would not want to be associated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because of their views, and that terrifies me. That's terrifying. And I can't imagine what it would be like to be, say, a teenager living in a household where this is not an option.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I can't imagine what that would feel like. I just think it's really, really important to have a group of people that you can associate with and talk with. And even if you're thousands and thousands of miles away from each other, maybe, I don't want to toot our own horn here, but maybe it is us hearing us talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe
you're not the only person out there.
Yeah. And to know that even people who, like, we talk a lot about our family being really into this and open and witchy and pagan.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That even within us, there are times when we want to hold it a little close to the chest.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't have a conclusion to this topic, which is, I guess, part of it, because it's not something you can just seal shut and be done with. I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
I knew that there were going to be, I also had a friend text me a while back and she was like, hey, I didn't know you had a podcast. Why didn't you tell me? And I pretty much just told her, I was like, well, the subject matter is a little, I think I said controversial at the time. And, I was beyond relieved when she was like, oh, no, I was really interested in going to the witchy bazaar,
nice.
and stuff. So I was kind of like, breathed that sigh, but I feel like it's a very literal, like, coming out of the broom closet. It is, it's a thing that is deeply emotional.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked a little bit in the past about ways that if you can't be completely open, we've talked about like having a pocket altar and stuff like that. And that's good and great if you absolutely need to be under wraps. But if you're at the point where I care, but I don't care, it's a strange place to be in. It's a strange crossroads of feeling uneasy and feeling like, what if I'm not accepted by the people who I love the most?
Yeah.
And it can be a very, very scary thing. I'm really grateful that I don't think anybody that is in my life is gonna drop me.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. But there are those out there who that would absolutely happen. And that makes me sad to my bones.
It is sad. It is sad because
it hurts my feelings.
It's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. And that's what makes it the most sad, is it's such a peaceful and loving thing.
Exactly.
And it's just portrayed, or not portrayed, but preconceived to be this bad, dark, evil thing.
Devil worship.
Yes, and it's
Satanism.
It's sad because, people have lost relationships off of incorrect information. It's not true.
I think the people that you're most nervous about, like, dropping you or reacting maybe, like, volatilely, I think those are the people that can really surprise you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
With, like, okay, well, why don't you tell me a little about this? And given the chance, I would love to say just that, like what you just said, that it's nature-based. It's not even necessarily a religion, No,
I mean, you can really customize it to be the set of beliefs that you need it to be. In my own practice, I don't consider a religion.
Yeah.
It's more of a sense of, it's just a feeling.
To me, it's a connection with things that I truly, truly believe to exist, energies and spirits and everything like that. And I don't really see the difference between saying, hey, I believe in ghosts, and hey, I believe that there are energies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like one person's ghost believer is the other person's, like, witchcraft devil worshiper.
Yeah.
So, and there are witches of every creed. I was confused as to what to call myself. I was like, I'm a Wiccan, I guess.
Yeah, that's, because that's the big one.
That's, and that's what's associated with it. And over time, I've learned that I don't think I am. I don't know enough about...
that's how I am, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know enough about that particular religion to assign myself to it. Maybe I am, who knows. But to me, it wasn't a religious thing. But in looking into all of this, like, there are atheist witches. Like, you don't necessarily believe in the gods and goddesses, but you believe in, like, the energy and the working of the world as, like, a scientific fact.
I think...
Which is cool.
I fall near that.
Right, yeah.
I think I'm like an agnostic witch. I think. And not to say that a lot of that is just because in the amount that I know right now, that's really where I fall.
And that's where you and I are really similar, is I don't think we like to make labels and definitive statements until we have committed ourselves
to know.
To knowing about it. The concept of, and I've been fascinated with like Christian witches. I've been fascinated with it because those are two things that historically don't really go hand in hand to each other. However, people have like written blogs and done posts and stuff about it, talking about how like in their eyes, they feel like they do directly go hand in hand.
Interesting.
Because it is such a loving thing, and
at its core, it is.
So, making no claims or anything about religions. I don't want to dig myself into that hole. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and I would really love to open dialogues about it.
Yeah, I would
with
too.
people. And it can be scary. All of that being said, I really feel like heaviness when I talk about this. Normally we're in here having a little bit of a shit talk fest.
Usually, yes.
It feels really, really nice to kind of get some of that off my chest.
Yeah, that does help to vent.
It helped to vent, and maybe it's inappropriate to use our platform for that. I think it will resonate with a lot of people. We got that one email, we've talked about it, from a guy sent us an email, and he said that he was having trouble finding his place in it.
Yeah.
He said it like, especially like as like a straight white man.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know where I belong.
He's like, where I don't know if or where I fit into this. And I mean, my response to that would be like, of fucking course you fit. I feel like everybody fits.
Yeah, but I understand the hesitation.
Yes, absolutely. After receiving that email, I guess it just really pointed out to me how common this is.
Oh, yeah. It's very easy to feel lost and not belonging anywhere. And alone is the big one. It's very easy to feel isolated when you're learning this.
And it kind of goes back to that thing that I went through when I was... 12, 13? I don't know ages. I'm horrible.
You are terrible at aging.
If you put a 13-year-old and a 4-year-old in a room, I will not know which is which. I am so bad with ages when it comes to like younger kids. But when I was younger, I went through a thing where I was just terrified.
Yeah.
I was terrified, especially being in the area of Texas that we live in. It's not what religion are you, it's are you a Baptist or are you a Methodist?
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is fine and cool, but it's like, what if the answer is neither?
Yeah.
And I just went through this period of terrifying just doubt and not knowing what I was. And there was this comforting thought that I'll still think of sometimes. So when I would really panic and be like, am I going to hell because I don't believe, or don't believe in the way I'm told to believe, I would kind of close my eyes and I would think about what my mom told me about like this golden like spirit person who was like the closest thing that like when people said God, that's what I would think about, you know.
She's such a witch.
And it's just, she doesn't even know the comfort that she has given me. Because to this day, sometimes when I feel lost or feel like, especially with doing this podcast, with like researching so much.
Yeah.
It's like you realize how much is out there, and then like some of it's like, should I be believing in this more than I do?
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's nice to just shut my eyes and I think of this like squiggly golden sun spirit.
I like it.
It's just so comforting to me. So if you're out there and you don't know your place, it
There's
exists.
a gold squiggly man out there.
There's a gold
who
squiggly
will show
spirit.
you the way.
Follow the gold squiggles. and again, I'm not advocating or disparaging any religion. That's not what this is about. It's just about me and knowing we need to talk about this.
Yeah.
This is something we need to talk about. So if you do feel like reaching out, feel free. You can always email us. And this is not like what we normally do, like a plug for like, please email us.
Yeah, no, actually do email
give us comments. You know, if you need someone to talk to and you have no one else, talk to us.
Or if you want to share your story, you know, like how you got, overcame things like that. Anything like that. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Or even if you are on, another side of this where you think that maybe this is something that you should keep to yourself, or just all viewpoints and walks of life,
I'm curious to know that.
Let us know. Maybe you have at some point in your life disconnected with somebody, unfortunately, because of things like this. It helps to air those things out. And if you don't feel like emailing us, we do have a Facebook page. Again, we always comment how it's not huge because I don't know how to run a Facebook page. But we do have our Facebook page where I think that would be one of the best places for you guys out there. Our 100 listeners.
Woo-hoo!
Did we? We didn't announce. We had to delete that, didn't we?
Oh, well, we have 100 listeners.
We'll redo that.
And that's not just people who have downloaded. That is people who are listening to us regularly. That is an important distinction that I need to make.
We have 100 listeners
that come back.
And they come back for more. So we've grown our family quite a bit.
Okay.
And
welcome to the coven.
Welcome to the coven. God, you've come around.
I like it.
Witch laugh. But no, there's 100 of us out there. That's no small number. Come over to the Facebook page, talk with each other, have discourse. We're like a little online coven at this point.
That's good, yeah.
And welcome to it. That's really what I had.
Rich.
That was witch. Rich.
It's a good rich topic.
That's all I had on the subject. There was no real beginning or ending to that story.
It's a good topic, though.
And it's something that did need to be talked about.
It's something that everybody is familiar with. If it didn't happen to them, they know someone it did.
Absolutely. We have 100 listeners.
Yeah, we do.
And I think at least one of them would like to hear about the third eye. Actually, we know for a fact one of them.
At least one of them for a fact.
Because somebody sent us a request.
I don't know where it is.
I have it. Brittany Marie.
She sent an email asking about if we could talk about the third eye and how to open it. She said that when she was younger, she experienced some paranormal things that really interested her, but scared her, which I totally get. Like, absolutely
That's
understand
like right up
that.
your alley,
Yeah, and she said, and because of that, she shut out, the gifts that she thinks that the third eye was giving her, and so she closed it. And she says recently she's been using meditation, chakra cleansing, and amethyst and turmeric with activating the third eye, but any ideas, would be great. I really related to that because I'm on the same, journey of working on opening up my third eye. And so I was already kind of researching it a little bit. And so when this came in, I pretty much told Charlye, I was like, I'm going to take this one.
I'm taking it.
Yeah. And so I'm very excited to talk about it. And she's definitely on the right track with what she's doing. But there are some very, very simple things to do to get it open and to keep it open. And it's important to note that it's not something that happens overnight. And it's not something that once your eye is open, that it's open forever.
Right.
It's kind of constant work to keep that open, you know? And, so I have I always feel like Blue's Clues when he's like, let me open my handy dandy notebook. I gotta get my big old book up here.
Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me wanna wag my tail. Okay.
Wow.
When it comes, I wanna well mail.
Wow,
that will never leave me to the day that I die.
I'm in awe. I forgot all about that.
Your little fucking dance that goes with it.
Oh. My goodness.
Did I bring some shit back?
Yeah, you did.
While you are getting your notes, I want to also point out that Brittany is one of the people that has submitted a spooky story. One, if not more of those, will be featured on our next spooky story time. There's a few we've gotten now, and there's still time to submit. So.
Please do. I want to see your spooky shit. So the third eye. You've heard about the third eye.
Oh, yeah.
We've all heard about the third eye.
Even if you don't know chakras, you've heard about the third eye.
It gets dropped a lot. Well, and I'm not touching too much on the third eye chakra today. I mean, a lot of the things that you do are things that you also are doing when you're trying to strengthen your third eye chakra. But I'm going to be talking a lot into what powers the third eye, what it actually is, and things like that. I'm a bit scientific today.
I love it.
I love some science.
We can throw some science and some data at something. To me, that gives it much more credence.
I love it. I really, really do. But in short, your third eye is your intuition. It sees what you can't. And the more that you listen to it, as you know, my favorite thing to say, shut up and listen, which is so important. It opens the more that you do.
When can we get t-shirts that say shut up and listen?
As soon as we can. The more that you follow that intuition and listen to what it tells you, the more it opens. I mean, it's almost as if it gets more confident. Don't ignore it. It's very important. And I'll never forget. There's one time in particular that I am almost positive that in an alternative timeline I died. And I
very possible.
Well, I remember I was still in college in Arkansas, and I was going to drive home that day. It was like early on, like Friday morning or something like that. I was going to come and have a long weekend, and I was like packing up, and I just came overwhelmed with the strongest sense of do not go, and just fear and twisted stomach. Just like it was so powerful. And like, I mean, it was fight or flight fear of going. And I called Mom and I said, I'm not coming. I said, I really planned on it, but I'm not coming. If something happens today on an alternative timeline, I didn't listen to that. And I went on that trip, and I don't know. And so it's just, that really matters. And ever since that day, if I feel something like that, I'll listen to it, you know. And there's stories you can hear from people like, oh, I got in my car and I never wear my seatbelt, but this one time I got in it, I was like, I really felt like I needed to put it on. Things like that. That's your third eye. Yeah. And everyone has it. It's not something that, you know, it's like, oh, mine doesn't work, or oh, I can't. No, you do. We all have it. And the thing is that in today's world, and I talk about this a lot, you know, we're not told to listen to that shit. You know, we're not fueled.
It's hooey.
We're not driven by instinct as a culture anymore, you know, and that's just, so it's just kind of fallen dormant a little bit, but there's ways to wake it up again, and very, very easy ones. It's important to note that the third eye is connected to the pineal gland, which is deep in your head, right where, you know, your third eye, like, is kind of located, you know, in between your eyes and slightly above. But it's deep in, and it actually is nestled right in between both hemispheres. Oh, yeah, it's in there. It controls a lot of really important shit, and stuff that not only impacts your, you know, spiritual awakening in your third eye, but also just your daily life and just cognitive function. It's a very powerful gland. It controls and produces melatonin. Okay, so it regulates your sleep. Yeah. You know,
which is, first of all, sleep to me is just like almost a mystical thing.
Well, I think a lot of this is going to resonate with you as to maybe why. There's really important stuff in here that we don't do so much anymore. You know, so melatonin is a serotonin derived hormone. Mm-hmm. You know, we want serotonin.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so it modulates sleep patterns, your circadian rhythms, and your seasonal cycles. So how you handle seasonal changes, how you handle seasonal activities, things like that. And it determines a big, huge amount of the quality of our lives. You know, stress, physical activity, things like that. It's tiny. It's about the size of a pea. And it's shaped like a pine cone. That's where the name pineal gland comes from. It's shaped like a pine cone. And some easy ways, these are just some quick ways to help it out a little bit, you know, is to get in the sun, you know, and that just kind of helps. Sleep in the darkness. There's actually a connection here. There are Taoism called it the crystal palace. So there are 3 glands in your brain: the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and the pineal gland. And all 3 of them together work to form kind of that third eye, that higher consciousness, and things like that. Melatonin is produced in the pineal gland, but that command to do so is controlled by the hypothalamus. So the hypothalamus has receptors to know when it's darkness. And that's when it tells the pituitary or the pineal gland to produce melatonin. So they're connected together. A lot of people keep their screens on, whether it be TV or phone or computer.
Guilty.
And when you do that later in the evening, you've not been producing your sleep hormone. It's, you know, the hypothalamus was supposed to, when things started dying down and getting darker in your brain, so that's when it starts telling the pineal gland, all right, get to work. Let's put these people to sleep.
Yeah.
And it's not, because it doesn't think it needs to, you know? And so that's not even just a third eye issue. That's a big problem today.
It's just like a general health.
Yeah. And you know,
issue.
So many people, and not to brag, but I haven't slept with a TV or anything in my room since I was about 16.
You also have one of the healthiest sleep schedules of anyone I've ever fucking met.
And that's on accident. It's just things that, and I was reading it and I was like, damn it, I guess there's something to this. But, I mean, really, it helps a lot. And so the last thing, though, so those are just 2, sleep in the darkness, get off your phones or, you know, whatever. If you go to bed at 10, get off of them at 9.
It's so hard to do.
And, you know, just turn it all off and, like, let your body actually produce it. Instead of taking melatonin, start training your body to produce it again on its own. And it'll train itself back, you know, but you got to help it along. And the last one is eliminate fluoride. Now, this is really interesting. Fluoride and a high intake of calcium can cause calcification of the pituitary gland. Okay. They essentially put it hardens a thick shell around it and stops it from working very well. It stops that secretion of melatonin. Well, the thing is fluoride is in 95% of America's water.
Right.
It's everywhere. And so you can clear it away. And so you can buy certain filters for your taps. And that will eliminate it. A lot of bottled water has it. But start really being cognizant of the amount of fluoride that you put in your body. And you got to hunt for it sometimes. It's in toothpaste, which is pretty common, in mouthwashes, teas. So, I mean, yes. So certain teas, like green tea, depending on where they're grown, they can have a higher concentration of fluoride. So it can take a little bit of work, but read up on that, because we take it every single day and it's been coating that gland. Nobody can fucking sleep. You know, their third eyes are gunked up right now, you know, and I just thought that was very fascinating. Yeah.
I also want to touch on this, that I know in a lot of ways, maybe not in the way that you're talking about it, but in a lot of other ways, fluoride has a very deep and rich, it has a lot of conspiracies.
There's a conspiracy with this.
Yeah.
This one in particular says, you know, so if you have this unity of people that are all they've awakened with their third eyes. So you can see in nature that the third eye can almost create a hive mind. It's how geese can all work together when they fly, and herds all know exactly how to weave in and out. Fish know how to swim in exact patterns. You know how they do.
Because it's instinct.
It's instinct, and it links them together. And they're like, what do you do to a society that you don't want to be able to join together like that? Ruin that thing that lets you do it, you know? And so essentially promote a diet high in calcium, drink your milk, you know, and put fluoride in everything. So yeah, that was a big conspiracy here, is that it's a way to shut down the minds of the populace. I'm fortunate enough to where I live on a well. It's in a lot of places you don't know to look. So look for them.
And another thing, okay, so I know I said I was looking at it from a skeptical mind, but I'm trying. So the whole argument behind putting fluoride into stuff is it's good for our teeth. It strengthens our teeth.
Yeah, and I don't really know what else. I think some sort of purification, maybe. I think. I don't know.
But my thing is, why am I supposed to believe that anybody putting this in my water supply gives a shit about my teeth?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody gave a shit about my teeth, wouldn't put laws into place to make it mandatory to go to the
dentist.
I
don't know what it's for. I don't know if it's...
It just seems in a place where we are killing ourselves daily with, fast food and sugar and everything. Why am I thinking someone gives a fuck about my teeth? So that's something to think about.
Pineal gland, this tiny little thing. I know it sounds like penis.
I giggle every time you say it.
I've heard some people call it a pineal gland, and so I'm probably at the end of this, people are going to be like, no.
I've never heard that.
Okay.
I'm no doctor, but...
Well, it's long been associated in every spiritual civilization. It's kind of always been associated as the connection between the spiritual and the physical world. So it's nothing new. Like the Egyptians would preserve it by itself in certain mummifications and things like that. It's just somehow always been known that... It's
like a gateway.
Yeah, it's able to identify itself, like it's bizarre. So together it linked with the hypothalamus. They regulate temperature, hunger, thirst, fatigue, growth, sleep, weight, sex need.
Drive?
Yeah, sex drive. I forgot.
Doctor, I might have low
I got
T.
no sex need.
No sex need.
That's awesome. Okay. Sex need, pain relief, blood pressure, circadian rhythms, and your fight or flight response. So,
but also your sex need.
You gotta, that's sex need. And to a healthy pineal gland, it also plays a role in the production and metabolizing of DMT.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're getting into
our old friend we've discussed in the past.
We're getting into some spiritual stuff here. Melatonin, is produced too, and it quiets the body and the mind. So Penoline is produced. It enables dreams and visions in the conscious mind.
Ooh.
Yeah, so if you're noticing a trend with these, like being in a deep meditative state, DMT is produced, as well as in like big births or big things like that, bringing a child into the world.
As I understood it, and I could be wrong about this, isn't that the chemical that allows us to visually dream? Like, when you're like, I dreamed and I saw myself opening a door.
Yeah.
Like, that's the chemical that allows, like...
Yeah.
Or I guess even daydreaming. You're picturing stuff that's not there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's it or Penoline, but one of those two, that lets you.
I get you.
DMT is also produced in, times of sexual ecstasy. If you're noticing very heightened states of mind, and also
that sex need.
Near-death experiences. When you're, say, your fight or flight is probably going, like that will produce things like that. And finally, as well as in your REM state of sleep, which makes sense, very visual chemical. Taoist practices that, these three were called the Crystal Palace. Which I think is really beautiful.
Yeah.
I really, really like that.
It paints a really pretty image.
Yeah, and so that's, the third eye, that's what fuels it. That's where it's all based. What's interesting about all of this is that animals also have a pineal gland. And theirs is bigger than ours. Which kind of makes sense if you think about it. They're using their instinct.
They're more instinct-driven.
Yes,
I wonder if over time, if we have developed smaller... glands.
I wonder. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
do. I wonder that. If just through evolution, it's shrunk.
Relying, because like you do say all the time, we do rely less on our instincts, and we're not living as I hate to say living as authentically as but you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
If we're doing that less and less, why wouldn't it have shrank a little bit?
Yeah.
Maybe back when ours was the same as a more beast-like creature.
Yeah, it's atrophied. It has been studied to maybe allow that strange communication with other animals, to do these hive mind like activities and things like that. So there's a lot of ways to get this going here, to start trying to open it up. And now that it helps me in meditating on it to know that it's not just that there's actual glands trying to help this happen. And so I know that sounds silly, but like, I am actually thinking like, all right, I'm trying to do things now, like drinking the vinegar or doing things to make this easier. And when you're in that meditative state, imagine how, you know, they're syncing up together and things like that. But there's an interesting kind of way to help it along. So humming at a certain frequency.
Ooh.
Or, you know, just really vibrations. It is very responsive to vibrations or toning or chants. They greatly energize those glands, thus energizing your third eye.
Like a singing bowl or something.
It's very neat. Like I did a meditation this morning and I just hummed for a while. And you can also tap like where the third eye, you know, is. And that's supposed to just kind of reverberate to those glands, you know, and like kind of help those chemicals get released. There's something, and I might say this wrong, but and we can link to it. I'll get you where I found it. Chanting the 8 forces of the Pakua.
Oh.
I don't know, but I didn't have time to look into it, but that was something that I found. Of course, meditating. It's helped me the most out of everything. It really, really has. Trying to get into those deep meditative states. I've not been meditating on opening my third eye, but I've just been meditating in general, and I feel like through that it's starting to happen. This was kind of interesting. So, you know, the pituitary gland is also, you know, in that little trio that's so big.
Crystal Palace.
It's very close to the roof of your mouth. So you can actually press your tongue to the roof of your mouth and it will help like activate that gland. I thought that was very interesting. A big one is darkness. Kind of the roller coaster effect of all of these glands getting to work is darkness. That's what they require because, you know, sunlight tells them they're not needed right now, you know. Being in the darkness, just to kind of help get that eye open.
Interesting that these work best when we are in a state of unconsciousness.
Yeah. I mean, you know, because our conscious mind is just noisy.
Right.
You know, being joyful. Times of happiness, you know, really help the secretion of these hormones. Yeah, as I said earlier, a biggie, and I put an asterisk by it, is decalcify it. You know, be cognizant of how much fluoride you're taking in. If you can get a filter and put it on, do that. You know, start trying to really filter some of that out. And excess calcium as well. You know, there's tons of remedies to do things like that just to get a bit of a better balance in your body. And one of the biggest ones is if you start noticing it giving you messages, do not ignore them. That's very important. You know, intention, as we say, is everything. And, you know, a flash of intuition, it's not for no reason. Right. You know, listen to it. And if nothing else, just sit and ponder on what could it mean. It might not mean the obvious, you know, like think about it for a second because it's trying to learn and it's trying to open. And it's if the intention is to shut it down, its intention is going to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like through that, it's not going to open at a normal response, you know, because that's the goal, is to eventually have it think just as sharply as your, you know, conscious mind. Right. It's real in, you know, the belief sense, in my opinion, but real in the physical sense. This is a setup in our brain that we have. And why would we have it? Right. You know, if it wasn't to be used and flexed and, you know, worked on, and we just don't. But I think you know, we don't know how to use it. That's the thing. You just got to learn. And that's pretty much it. I wanted to do a bit more of almost like a nutritionist episode on this, just because you forget sometimes, and there's very real world applications that you can do. You know, just small changes that you can implement in your day and to help things along a little bit. And it's been very fascinating for me to learn that the reason the third eye is there is because the pineal gland alone, it produces like so much energy and it just gets bathed in like cerebral spinal fluid. And it's just, I mean, it's just a powerhouse. It helps me now. I feel like now that I know this and know that it's this real thing in my head that really produces these hormones that make you see these unbelievable things and experience these things, helps me activate it a little bit better, because I know that I'm actually essentially using something just like I'm using my arm or my leg. I just need to learn how to use it. You're flexing
that muscle. Yeah. But as far as little quick things you can do, I guess, to kind of declutter it or whatever, how do things like this respond to things like smoke cleansing or like work with the amethyst?
So you can use crystals and things like that. The third eye color is purple. Yeah, and so amethyst is purple. And so, as you know, chakra stones often correlate with their color.
Well, I've heard of people putting amethyst under their pillow to like enhance dreams. So I guess that's kind of...
Yeah. But yeah, so you can... there's all kinds of ways, you know. I've always been a nutritionist type person anyway. And so that's kind of what I gravitated to was, all right, so what is like the easy shit that I can do and change? And, you know, I've noticed the best results. One, in making sure you're getting good sleep. I know when my mind is tired, I just can't. That's really like kind of a lot of what I found is a healthy crystal palace pretty much is a healthy third eye.
It's like it's an actual mind palace.
Yeah, it really is. And that kind of gives you, or it gives me like a little bit of a sense of pride in taking care of it. You know, like it was an eye opener for me. Really. Ha! No pun intended. No, so I was learning all of that this morning, like as the sun was rising on my porch and it was still kind of dark. And I had these great animal experiences. Like this hummingbird just sat and looked at me like 4 feet away forever. And a flying squirrel like jumped from a tree. And these 2 birds were like really, one bird was hitting on the other bird and the other bird was having no part of it. And he was like stomping and pecking onto his truck beds because I heard like, and I was like, what is that? And I saw this little bird just getting down. Like, and then,
hey girl!
Yeah, and this other bird was just watching him from a tree, and then she just ditched. Like, she just completely ducked out. And he flew after her, and I was like, bye, man, give it up. Like, she's not interested.
Mood, me.
But then, you know, I finished my notes, and I looked up, and just the mother tree was there, and, you know, it's just... And it looks like a hand. It's like, it's so neat, and it's huge, and no trees are near it, and I think that's neat. And so I just went and sat out by it, and I was meditating, and I'm starting to kind of, not every time, it fails a lot, but be able to meditate without a guide. Just actually turn my brain off, and I just did. I was able to do it, because after all this studying, and I was just feeling it this morning, you know, and I don't ever come out of them with a full memory. It's kind of weird. It's almost dreamy, because like, I sat down first, and I just thanked the tree, or thanked the goddess, thanked the spirit, thanked whatever, you know, because I've noticed that my third eye is not open yet, but it's getting there, you know? And so I just started thanking over and over again. Thank you for letting me see. Thank you for letting I said over and over and over again. And I just started feeling charged up, you know, like you get, you know, when you walk in and you just feel it in your hands and you just, oh my gosh. And I started just feeling it. And it was and like the wind was blowing and it was so bad. I felt like the trees were just like shooting their energy into my body. And I was almost visualizing that. It was just like these like glowy specks. It was really neat.
Oh, that's so much more pleasant than what I was picturing.
Oh no, beautiful. Yeah.
It's like a laser
just
gun.
Blasting my skin off.
into your body.
Here you go!
Take my power!
And it was beautiful. And so I was just like, and then I was getting all this energy. And then I just hear this voice, and I told you earlier, it's like a very Meryl Streepish voice almost, which is funny. Like, and I mean that in the sense of definitely there's some age. You hear the grit of age a little bit, but still very bright and, you know, alive.
Like regal.
Yeah, and just...
Or just very confident and poised.
Yeah, very much so. And it was just like, I need to give you this. And I was like, you don't have to give me anything, you know? And I was just like in this weird loopy state. I don't remember much of this. It was weird. And he was like, no, you need this. And I was like, well, what is it? And it said peace. And I was like, you've already given me peace. Because I've told you this before. I've had a similar thing where Yaxin gave me peace.
In a time that you needed
Yeah, and I was like, I don't really need peace. And she was like, you will to receive this. And my hands at this point, like I said, they were really buzzing and just going. And I just knew to put my charged hand over my third eye. And I just put my fingers there. And I just felt, it was just like a bomb went off. It was really cool. Yeah, so that was my third eye meditation this morning.
So we're going to bring the podcast to a close.
I think we already have 10 minutes ago. So, you know, Charlie.
Sir.
We're on Instagram.
Fuck me.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
We're so on Instagram.
And sometimes we post pictures.
Sometimes. We need to do that more often.
I know.
At Witch Bitch Amateur Hour. We are also on Twitter at Bitch Hour, which I really like. That was just short and sweet.
Bitch Hour.
Bitch Hour. Facebook at Witch Amateur Hour. And you can email us at wbahpodcast@gmail.com. We made them all different for your convenience.
You know what? I remember making those and I was like, man, we should really keep them all similar.
That didn't work.
And then like Facebook wouldn't accept the word bitch. Oh. And then Twitter, you had to keep short and sweet. And then Instagram was the first one I made. So of course I put the entire name. So talking this episode about coming together and making our little family and growing it larger and being able to reach out and have a source where we talk about these things that stress us out, or even to laugh and learn and share memes. I don't know.
I love a good meme share.
Love a good witchy meme. So if you do enjoy us, and we hope you do, please drop us a review. If you don't even like typing, you can just pop that star in there.
5 stars. What? We're better than that.
Just pop that single star. Really lower our rating. Anyways, so this is the part in the show where we're just begging for you guys to leave us ratings. It helps us out. It grows the family. And it's just damn nice to hear from you.
It is. I love it.
Anyway, it was good to get to see you again. And don't ask me how I did next week. Don't ask me that question on next week's podcast.
Yeah, sure.
It has been the witch. Amateur. Ancestor.
It was so fun. Sitting the way that I am like this, I feel it gives me a Linda from Bob's Burgers fupa.